Hello, Professor. Hold on, let me get my family up here. Okay. So this will be my persuasive speech. Here is my live audience. Okay. Oh, let me flick my camera around for them. Okay, hopefully you can see me. Let me see. Wait. Oh, can you see me? Okay, there we go. Can you guys see me? Okay, great. Okay. Hello everyone, my name is Brian McMillian. Thank you all for being here this evening. Today we're going to be discussing daylight savings time. Now before we jump right into things, I'd like you to take a moment to picture something. Picture yourself walking outside after a long day of work. It's 5 p.m. and there's still sunlight out. Now this picture is an all too familiar theme of summer, but let's fast forward the clock to winter. We step outside into complete darkness, and it instantly feels like the day is already over. I like to share one study by the American Academy of Sleep Medicine conducted on daylight savings time in 2023, which showed that early evening darkness increases feelings of seasonal depression, lack of motivation, and overall lack of alertness. Now I chose this topic because I used to work like many other people, 9 to 5 office jobs. And last winter, every day when I got out of work, I'd step out into darkness. And I felt exhausted and kind of sad and honestly cheated out of my whole evening. So to learn more about this phenomenon, I reviewed some research from the Centers for Disease Control, the U.S. Department of Transportation, and the National Sleep Foundation to better understand what these clock changes actually do to our health and our everyday lives. Now this topic affects all of us. Every single person in this room has to follow the yearly time change. Those clock shifts impact our sleep, our mood, our safety while driving and walking, and how much daylight we get for school, work, and ourselves. And it has a huge impact. And so today, in my presentation, I'm going to argue that, the United States should adopt permanent, year-round daylight savings time. And this may sound crazy to some, but I'll explain it, and maybe you may agree with me at the end of this. But doing so would improve health, increase public safety, give Americans more usable daylight. And so while we discuss this, the first thing I'm going to discuss is or present to you is explaining how this time change causes problems for us. Then I want to explain how permanent daylight savings time would fix those issues. And at the end of this, I want to paint a picture of what everyday life would look like if daylight savings time was kept year-round. Now, the first thing is changing the clocks twice a year harms public health, safety, and daily life. One study by the American Heart Association in 2022 reported that moving the clocks forward disrupts our natural sleep rhythm and even puts strain on the heart. And for the 122,000 Americans that are diagnosed with heart disease each year, this can be a contributing factor, which was pointed out in this study actually. Now, another study conducted by the Centers for Disease Control in 2022 showed that losing even 1 hour of sleep can cause noticeable fatigue, slower reaction times the next day, and literally make us less alert. And in one of my previous presentations about the science of sleep, I actually discussed how missing 1 hour of sleep the night before can reduce your brain function to someone who has a blood alcohol content of 0.10, which is legally drunk in most places. So let that sink in. Switching the clocks also increases safety risks. A study from 2020 from the University of Colorado Boulder found that car accidents increase right after springtime switch. You may ask why? Well, because people are tired and because the sun is suddenly rising and setting at different times in the day, which sort of throws us all off. Now, in winter, which is what we're in currently, early sunsets create another safety issue. Drivers and pedestrians have far less visibility, which makes evening accidents more likely. And when daylight savings time leaves us in the winter, we lose daylight at one of the most important times, when people are going home after work or school. And we're all too familiar with the 4 to 7 o'clock rush hour times, which is, well, right now here in California at 4:30 p.m. it's getting dark, and it's getting dark earlier than that when it starts raining like it is now, or snowing in some other areas. The sun is just not there. Early evening darkness has also been shown to reduce motivation and activity. One study by the American Academy of Sleep Medicine in 2023 linked early sunsets to lower mood and reduced energy. And overall, people lose time for errands, safe exercise, and simply being outdoors, which makes the entire day feel shorter. And as far as exercise go, it creates an environment where you just can't see what's around you, and drivers can't see what's around you, so it's really scary. So those are some of the problems, but now let's get into how daylight savings would fix some of those issues. Well, permanent daylight savings time has been shown to improve health, safety, and give us more time for our daily routines. The Sleep Foundation in 2023 had a study that showed that staying on one consistent sleep schedule helps the body maintain steady circadian rhythm. Circadian rhythm is your internal clock. If you go to sleep at 9 o'clock, after a couple of weeks, your body's going to be used to going to sleep at 9 o'clock, and if that's disrupted, well, it can throw you off quite a bit. I know for me, I have a crazy sleep schedule, so I've felt that personally. When we have more daylight after work, we'll have more daylight after work with permanent daylight savings time, which is obvious. Seasonal depression rates will go down. People feel more energized, more motivated, and overall less overwhelmed. Some of the other benefits include improved safety during busy evening hours. The United States Department of Transportation in 2021, reported that more daylight during peak driving times reduced the number of accidents, which through common sense you could probably see how. You can see better. I know in California most people are driving 70 to 80 miles per hour on the freeway, and it's a lot better when you can see far with what's in front of you. More daylight overall just means better visibility for drivers, better visibility for pedestrians, better visibility for kids and families outdoors. It literally reduces the chance of car accidents. Visibility is everything when driving, and I'm sure all of us are drivers, so most of us should be able to relate to that. Permanent daylight savings time also gives people more usable daylight after school and work. Later sunsets means more time to run errands, to exercise, or simply just being outside without feeling rushed to go home due to the darkness, the impending darkness that's gonna leach over all of us. And it's been shown that communities stay more active and connected when the evenings aren't pitch dark. People have more time to go to the park, interact with their neighbors. Now that we know how the solution works, how daylight savings time can improve things, I want to paint that picture that I discussed or mentioned earlier of what it would look like to have permanent daylight savings time. Well, people would get to have more daylight year-round, more time outdoors, more time to stay active without rushing before dark. Evening daylight boosts mood, it makes the day feel longer and balanced. And we just have an evening that's filled with more light overall for us to just do things. Families would also benefit from longer daylight too. As I mentioned a little bit earlier, parks, sports fields, outdoor areas would stay busier later. Families could feel confident that their children would be safe at a park or playing outside in front of the house. And people can spend more time together after work and school without having to worry about coming outside and it being completely dark. So we'd also get rid of the inconvenience of switching our clocks on our cars and our ovens and microwaves that we all have to do every year. No more dragging ourselves through the whole week with this new schedule after spring forward. We'll be able to maintain a consistent schedule that supports our health and our productivity, and giving us in turn better sleep and overall better well-being. Now, we don't have to let daylight savings time be the end all. There's other options, but in this argument, I'm saying that daylight savings time is the only option. If we want to have more daylight in the evenings and have brighter evenings, safer roads, and overall healthier routines. So it's time to stop falling back and to start moving forward. Thank you so much for being here today, and have a great night.